This is a Film Stories original podcast.
Mother's Day is almost here, and you can get her the most beautiful time-tested gift around. A watch she can wear every day from Movement. Whether your mom is into classic dress watches, rare and refined ceramics, or tried-and-true bestsellers, Movement has something she'll love. And right now, everything at Movement is up to 50% off site-wide during their Mother's Day sale. A watch is a gift that celebrates all the time you spent with Mom. And a Movement watch is even more than that. Movement uses industry-leading materials for their fresh modern watch designs, from technically complex ceramics to vintage-inspired style, all for an incredible value your wrist and wallet will both love. And with one-size-fits-all convenience and fast free shipping and returns, it's a stress-free shopping experience. Save big on the best Mother's Day gift ever with Movement. Get up to 50% off site-wide during their Mother's Day sale at mvmt.com. Again, that's up to 50% off at mvmt.com.
We made this.
Welcome to the Xcast. The truth is in here. This is our special Fight the Future Minute podcast. I'm Russ Hugo and joined with Deana Ferreri, and you're listening to our coverage of minute 45 of The X-Files, Fight the Future. This minute begins at 44 minutes. We have Scully still hiding in the icebox having a conversation with Mulder, and then ends at 44:59. Again, to discuss this, I'm joined by fellow Xcast Deana Ferreri. How are you doing today?
Hey, Russ.
All right. Just received the call. Mulder is being insensitive and belligerent. He should know that she was essentially illegally in the morgue hiding and would get in horrible trouble if she got caught. And the fact that he doesn't quite get that. But this film is filled to the brim with lots of pushy Mulder stuff. So what are your thoughts about this scene here?
I think you and I had almost the same notes on that part where, Mulder, he's being pushy. He calls Scully from a payphone. So first of all, like 90s payphone. There are still payphones. And she whispers, and he's like, well, why are you whispering? And I'm going, Mulder, why do you think she's whispering? He snuck her into this, like, high-security place where she's not supposed to be and left her there to autopsy a body. She could get caught at any minute. And, so then continuing with the pushiness, he wants her to come with him to Dallas. And he has bought her a ticket, and, she's worried about missing the hearing. Mulder is assuring her he will get her back on time. And around then, it's like, actually one of my favorite quotes from the movie is, then Scully says, Mulder, I can't. I'm way past the point of common sense here. And I think that's really that's one of those, their partnership in a nutshell kind of lines. Like, Mulder always being pushy, pushing her past the point of common sense, but she always sort of goes anyway. Sort of rule follower and rule breaker. Yeah, and considering that's sort of the resolution to the film, that's the one theme that the film kind of pushes pretty consistently and fairly well. A little heavy-handed, but the idea of Scully needing to quit and or them each motivating each other, keeping themselves going. So yeah, good point. The other thought I will say to comment is I think that the set here is very nice, although I'm not sure how believable it is that they would not have heard the call, heard the ring out of there. I'm not sure how well insulated that is. But again, we'll just have to go with it and allow it to build tension. And then the fact that she spent, we later learn, a half an hour in cold storage, but yes.
It cuts away, and like most of the film does not show us or explain how she would have got out of the building, which I'm sure there's cameras and guards everywhere, but we just have to roll with it.
Yes. Yes, we do. And we learn during this minute that what Scully has found so far is, she says there's evidence of some sort of massive infection, but she's not sure, what the nature of it is. So that's our first glimpse of, like, having an idea of what happened to the 3 firefighters and we know that, we know from the beginning that they were infected with the black oil, but we don't really know, well, like, scientifically, what does that look like? What would Scully actually find?
And getting back a little bit to everyone's favorite episode of El Mundo Gira.
Of course.
Here we have something where it's probably quite likely some sort of disease vector, and the level of biological protection that she is wearing during the scene is, again, a bit shocking. And I know, dramatic license, but these are the people who survived F. Emasculata, so I think it would be a little bit more on edge. And, like, just carry a pocket hazmat suit with her. Yes, something.
Yeah, just a mask. Something. I have some of my cringiest moments of watching the X-Files are when Scully is, like, touching things she's not supposed to, or, like, she has gloves. There's a lot where, like, she has gloves on. She's doing an autopsy or she's doing something in some sort of lab. She has gloves on, and then she picks up her phone, like, with the gloves on. I'm just like, stop! What are you doing?
That's the reason I brought up El Mundo Gira. I think there's this earlier scene where somebody touches something and they see it, and they see that it's transmitted by touch. And then they go up to, the touching doorknobs, and the patient, like, oh, come on, people.
And then you always have, like, Mulder tasting things every now and then.
Yes. I think that's a little more excusable because Mulder's not a scientist to the degree Scully
should know better. Yeah, I forget which one I was watching recently. It might have been, I don't remember. All Souls, maybe, where she has gloves on. She's doing an autopsy, and she, like, covers her mouth with her hand. I'm like, you're touching your face. Stop. Anyway, yeah. Biosafety concerns aside.
They do build some good tension, although I'm not sure it's resolved fairly. Any final thoughts on minute 45?
Well, one of the things I was thinking about here is, at this point, Scully already knows that she's going to be transferred. So I've wondered, like, what's her motivation for continuing this. I don't know if she thinks that they'll find evidence that will maybe allow her to not get transferred, to not get blamed. But at this point, I think she already has sort of made up her mind to quit. So I find it almost a little surprising that she keeps going at this point.
That whole part of the story is not still very clear to me in the sense of why are they taking the blame, like, for the deaths of these people when all they did was happen to be in the right building to find the bomb. And we're told by their superior officer to leave. It doesn't quite track too clearly here. And then if Scully's maybe she's doing it to protect Mulder. That's one thought I had watching it, or just, again, because she's curious and is spending the time with Mulder, and that goes back to that thread. But it's a fair point. The thought is, she could just walk away at this point because she's not being held on criminal charges. She's going to go teach anyways. But
right.
And the X-Files is shut down, so why bother? But good points. So there we go. There goes minute 45, out like a bullet. And we'll be back soon with minute 46. So until our next minute, remember, as always, trust no one.
Previously on the We Made This Network. Make it so.
Someday we will sing songs of the battle of Discovery's survival.
Yeah.
Through adversity.
Yeah.
And Tony, if it had been any other series, if it had been any other project, if it had been any other project other than, being the flagship to launch a whole new commercial enterprise by a little entity no one ever heard of called CBS, if it had not had a three-way pressure point, if there'd been this kind of problem in development on anything else, they would have pulled the plug and, walked away. But it was Star Trek, and it had to launch this new series, and the whole world is watching. So by God, keep throwing money at it until we get something on the screen, literally.
Pull or pass?
Amazon Prime in the UK is now listing New Mutants as a pre-order.
Yes.
It's got a 12 rating, and it's got no release date.
Yeah. But you can pay for it up front.
You can. And I mean, I'm almost tempted, because it'll just kind of like drop in your Amazon when it's available. And it's a film I've wanted to see for a very long time. I wonder whether we'll notice that the cast have aged by the time we get to see that film.
The Movie Palace.
Okay, so the main reason we're here, of course, is this new book, Daring Darlene, Queen of the Stream. How would you describe this book to people who are unaware of it? I mean, you can give away as much of the story as you want, I guess. But yeah, how would you kind of pitch it, I suppose?
Well, it's a story of a girl named Darlene, who has been an actress in the silent film industry since earliest childhood. She was a child star.
Check out all of these shows and more on the We Made This podcast network.